Welcome to Law Talk with Peter Meyer.
Hello and welcome to Law Talk with Peter Meyer. Peter provides personalized and professional representation for personal injury and wrongful death cases across Georgia, empowering injured individuals to recover financially and hold those responsible accountable. I am your host today, Kevin Rosenquist, and of course, I am joined by Peter Meyer. Peter, welcome.
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
I'm doing great. Excited to chat with you today. We're going to talk about how someone can choose the best injury attorney for their claim, and you're going to go over some red flags to watch out for. So let's just start here. What do you feel are the most important qualities that people should look for in a personal injury attorney?
I'd really say the two biggest things are experience and results. We have specialized in injury and death cases. I've handled them for over 25 years. We've won hundreds of millions of dollars for our clients across Georgia and the Southeast. So whether it's a car wreck or a tractor trailer case, premises liability, wrongful death, we have won all of these types of cases all over the state and throughout the Southeast. So you really want somebody that knows the law and has a record of winning those specific types of cases.
So that's aside, and opposed to a general practitioner.
Absolutely.
You're saying like a specialized person is better.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you want whatever legal issue you have, you want somebody who specializes in that field. I mean, you would not hire a proctologist for a brain tumor. So, the same thing with an injury or death case. You want to hire a firm that has experience in that field. Injury and death cases are very different than a divorce or a bankruptcy.
Right.
So, I mean, I wouldn't touch those cases. That's not my specialty. But we know the law and we know personal injury and wrongful death cases. And that's all I've done for 25 years. We know the insurance company tactics. We've won so many tough cases that have been sent to us by other firms, or other firms turned the cases down and then we won them. So you really want somebody that has very specialized knowledge in that field. For example, just last week, I had a client that had gotten some bad advice from a firm that did not handle injury cases. And he was pretty badly hurt in that car accident. So we got the liability coverage to pay. And then he had an underinsured motorist, or a policy of his own that, without getting too technical, it was a reduced policy. So they told him, well, we're not going to provide any coverage for this. But because we do this every day, we know to ask for a certain waiver. You have to waive the type of coverage, this add-on coverage, and they could not provide that. So just by doing that, we got this client an extra $25,000 that he wouldn't have gotten if he hadn't come to us.
Oh, okay. That's nothing to sneeze at.
Yeah, there's more examples than I can count, why you need a specialized firm. Just another example, we had a premises liability case recently. This gentleman was turned down literally by 9 other firms. They said, you don't have a case, you're going to lose, you're going to get thrown out on summary judgment. After investigating the case and doing all of the hard work that was needed, we got him a 6-figure settlement at mediation right here in Bibb County.
Wow. And other people said the case wasn't worth anything.
9 firms. He was turned down by 9 firms. Yeah.
Huh. And can you represent yourself in these cases?
Well, there's an old adage that says, he who represents himself has a fool for a lawyer. And it's really not a good idea because there's just so many pitfalls. There's so many things that can go wrong. And insurance companies are in the business of not paying claims or paying less than they should. So at least consult with somebody. A lot of times people call me and maybe it's a small wreck, minor damage or a property damage issue. And sometimes I can advise them what needs to be done and they can go off and resolve it. But most of the time, that's not the case. So at least consult with somebody. The consultation is free, doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. We're happy to help.
Yeah. And I imagine that, this is just my guess, but, you just talked about how the insurance company's tactics. I mean, if they see someone representing themselves, their mouths are probably watering. They're probably like, all right, we got this. This is going to be a slam dunk, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, that is the case. And there's so many things that can go wrong. You can sign away your rights. So you can sign an overly broad medical release. You can accept a settlement offer that's less than the case is worth. People need to understand that insurance companies make their money by not paying claims or by paying less than they should. So it's always important to at least consult with somebody. And I mean, I've gotten so many calls over the years, the same phone call, probably at least 10 or 20 times, where they say, I settled with the insurance company for some small amount of money. And now I find out I need surgery and I want to go back and sue. And of course, you can't because you have signed a check and a release and waived all your rights. So that's the most common. And another one that happens is people will accept a small settlement check and then they get a letter from the hospital who has a lien or Medicare or Medicaid or Blue Cross, and they say, wait, we get some of that money back. And they end up getting nothing. So at least consult with somebody that is a specialist that knows all of the pitfalls in these cases.
Absolutely. Can you talk about how the right attorney can impact the outcome of a case?
Hiring the right firm makes all of the difference in the case. When it comes to personal injury and wrongful death cases, we know the law, we know the insurance company tactics, and we will do all of the hard work, all of the groundwork, all of the detective work that needs to be done to win your case. We will fight to win our clients the highest settlement or jury verdict as possible. And we have won hundreds of millions of dollars for our clients throughout the state of Georgia. But it's not only that, it's also about making the process go as smooth as possible. My clients are usually calling during one of the worst times in their lives. They've been hurt. They're worried about medical bills piling up. Maybe they lost a loved one. They need medical treatment and it's thinking, how do I get this if I have no health insurance? Maybe they've been out of work and they're worried about being disabled, maybe permanently disabled. What we can do is help our clients get the medical treatment they need, keep them from getting buried in medical bills and collection agencies contacting them. Little things like getting your car fixed or replaced quickly. If that drags on, I've had clients who said, I can't go to work. I can't feed my family because they won't fix my car. We do that at no charge, by the way. So, all of these little things, in addition to getting our clients the highest settlement or verdict, is why it's so important to have a firm that specializes in these type of cases. And one last thing I'd like to add, Kevin, is at the end of the case, there'll be no loose ends. We'll make sure that when we get you that settlement or that verdict, that there's not other parties coming after you to get paid from your settlement. Most people don't know that in Georgia, a hospital or a doctor can file a lien on your settlement and get paid from the settlement before the client gets paid.
Wow.
We'll deal with those bills and those liens and negotiate them and make sure our client gets as much money as possible. And also we can have what's called subrogation, where if you have Blue Cross or Medicaid or Medicare, if they make payments and then you get a settlement, they have a right to come in and take funds from that settlement. So we fight with the insurance company to get our client paid, and then we fight with all of these third parties to not give them our clients money. And that's why they need to have somebody that handles these cases every day.
Yeah, that's interesting. Well, so that's an interesting. I didn't realize that about the liens, like you said, about that doctors or hospitals can do that. What should clients understand about any potential costs or contingency fees, things like that?
Well, the contingency fees were designed to allow somebody to be able to fight a legal claim against a multi-million or multi-billion dollar corporation like an insurance company. We only get paid if and when we win your case. We never charge a retainer. We never charge an hourly fee. We don't ask you for money for expenses. It can cost thousands of dollars to take a case to trial. I had one recently. The last one was, I think, over $20,000 in not lawyers' fees, but just the cost to get to trial.
Oh, wow.
We pay all of that. So the client never has to pay anything out of pocket. And they don't have to worry about any of this. So we'll make the process as smooth as possible. They'll never, if there's bill collections coming at them, we'll help them with that. But the most important thing is we only get paid if and when we win their case.
Okay. All right. And can you talk about how important it is to have a local attorney familiar with local laws and courts? I mean, there's obviously every state's a little different. Every county can be a little different. So, what are the advantages of going with someone local?
Well, there's a lot of there's many advantages to going with a local attorney. We know the venues which are better than others. We know the local doctors and hospitals. But also, we have credibility with the local defense lawyers and insurance companies because for 25 years, we've been winning cases against them. So, they know once we're involved that we're going to do the job right versus some of these, I won't name names, but some of these bigger firms, they have thousands and thousands of cases. They may not give them the personalized attention that they deserve. So, and the last thing is that we're here physically. So our clients know that they can talk to us or come by the office anytime. And that kind of gives them peace of mind as they're going through the process. We have an outstanding reputation here in Georgia, and all of our business is referrals. And I think being local is one of the reasons why.
Well, you mentioned too before the detective work involved in doing these things, and yeah, I would think I would want someone who knows the area and knows the streets and the businesses and how to get camera footage and all that stuff. I feel like that would be very valuable.
Oh, 100%. I mean, we're dealing with, local law enforcement and getting, whether it's the body cam video or other information. We have experts, local experts, if we need an accident reconstructionist. I can't imagine trying to handle a case in Kansas or somewhere else. But every day on TV, I see endless commercials from lawyers that are outside the area. So
Yeah.
It's best to have somebody that's right here on the ground in Georgia handling these cases.
Yeah, I definitely would want to go with someone local, no doubt about it. Can you talk about some red flags that people could look for that perhaps could indicate that an attorney might not be the right fit?
The number one complaint that we get when somebody comes to us after they've hired someone else is they never get to talk to the lawyer. They never see the lawyer. They talk to some, number of support staff, and they've never met with anybody in person. When you hire a law firm or any professional, you should expect to speak to that professional who's handling your case.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah, but you would be surprised how often that happens. They'll, I don't want to knock all lawyers who advertise because there's some excellent ones, but a lot of these firms are just so large and they have such a high volume of cases that they just don't get the personalized service. So my clients have my cell phone. They can reach anybody in my staff 24/7. So that's really the number one. And then, the other thing is, as I said earlier, you want a firm that will right up front explain to you how the process works. People have a lot of misunderstandings about how an injury case works or how a wrongful death case works. So we really spend a lot of time in the beginning explaining how it's going to work, what to expect, what some of the potential problems might be, what happens if I can't see a doctor, or what happens, if, whatever. There's a number of things that can go wrong. So we will lay out exactly what's going on, and our clients will never be wondering what's going on with my case or who's handling my case. They can always reach us. That's really the number one thing that I've seen over the past 25 years.
That's interesting. That's interesting that so many people immediately go for the biggest ones, probably because of the top at Google, right? So that they call them first, and then before they know it, they've never met their lawyer and they don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not knocking all of them. I'm just saying that the number one reason is that complaint that we've heard. And that's all of our business is referrals, and we don't have to advertise because we do a good job for people. They always know who's working on their case, and they always know where the case stands.
Finally, what are some of the common mistakes that you see that people make when choosing an attorney? Maybe go over how they could avoid them, and perhaps go over like how soon you should begin looking for a lawyer after something happens, an injury of sorts.
Well, if you're injured or suffer a loss, you should at least consult with a specialist in injury or death cases as soon as possible, because the insurance companies will use any tactic or use anything to deny your claim or to pay you less money than you're entitled to. So I always tell people, before you sign anything or before you give any type of recorded statement to any insurance company, give us a call. Let us take a look at it, because within a few minutes we'll know exactly what the potential issues of the case will be. So the initial thing is, first, go for medical treatment. Don't let there be any gaps in treatment. That's a big one too. And then before you talk to the insurance company, at least consult with an injury specialist and we'll give you our opinion about the case and tell you what we think needs to be done.
Yeah, and I think you made this point earlier. I mean, insurance companies, they want to pay out as little as possible, so they're going to try to make you sign that settlement that easy, maybe few hundred, few thousand, when your case could be worth multipliers of that.
I have had more cases than I could tell you right now where the insurance company offered my client $2,500 and we got them, 20 times that amount ultimately.
Wow.
It's not only that. You want to call somebody right away because we need to do a lot of the investigation and groundwork that people don't really see every day as soon as possible. If it's a car accident or a trucking accident, we need to get to the scene frequently and take photographs and measure skid marks and things like that, or go to the wrecker yard and get photographs of the damage to the vehicle so we can prove the type of impact or how hard the impact was, or talk to witnesses while things are fresh in their mind. So it's also important that you consult with somebody, because a lot of times we find things in the first 48 or 72 hours after an accident that wouldn't have been there if they called us a couple of weeks later. So
Right.
I can't emphasize enough how important that is.
Yeah, I mean, evidence doesn't last forever, right?
Exactly.
Physical evidence, yeah. All right, well, thanks for that, Peter, and thank you for tuning in to Law Talk with Peter Meyer. For more information or to connect with Peter, you can visit meyerlawfirm.net. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave us a review if you have a second. We got lots more stuff coming your way. Peter, always great chatting with you. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.